most expensive new car on earth does not have a price tag. You cannot walk into a dealership and buy it. You cannot even ask what it costs, because the company that built it has never told anyone, and the owner, who reportedly paid north of $30 million, is not talking either. And here is the part I love most. Money alone will not get you one. You have to be chosen. Today, I'm counting down the 10 most expensive new cars ever sold. Not vintage classics at auction. Not concept cars that never touched a road. Brand new machines that real people actually paid for. And as we climb from $4.5 million to more than 30, you are going to watch something strange happen. Somewhere along the way, these stop being cars at all and become something much closer to haute couture. Let's start the climb. Number 10. The Lamborghini Veneno Roadster, $4.5 million. In 2013, Lamborghini turned 50 years old, and it celebrated the way only Lamborghini can, by building something that looks like it escaped from a fighter jet hangar. The Veneno Roadster is based on the Aventador, but almost nothing on the body carries over. Every wing, every vent, every carbon fiber blade exists to manage air at absurd speed. Underneath sits a 6.5-liter V12, producing 750 horsepower, launching it from 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds and onto a top speed of 221 miles per hour. Only 9 Roadsters were ever built, and that scarcity did something remarkable. In 2019, one of the 9 crossed the auction block and sold for $8.3 million, nearly double its original price, making it the most expensive Lamborghini ever sold at auction. The lesson of this entire list, in one car: at this altitude, rarity is worth more than speed. Number 9. The Koenigsegg CCXR Trevita, $4.8 million. Trevita is Swedish for 3 whites, and the name is a small monument to a beautiful failure. The Swedish car maker Koenigsegg developed a way to coat its carbon fiber so the weave sparkles silver white in the sun, like a car bodied in woven diamonds. They announced 3. The material proved so fiendishly difficult to produce that they managed only 2. Under that shimmering shell sits a 4.8-liter twin-supercharged V8, making just over 1,000 horsepower. Good for 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds and a top speed beyond 250 miles per hour. The most famous Trevita belonged to the boxer Floyd Mayweather, who paid $4.8 million for it, showed it off exactly the way you would expect, and then sent it to auction 2 years later, where it reportedly brought around $2.6 million. Even a car made of diamonds, it turns out, can lose a fight with depreciation. Number 8. The Bugatti Divo, $5.8 million. In 2018, Bugatti did something it had not done in decades. It took the Chiron, already a 1.5 thousand horsepower monument to excess, and rebodied it into a completely different animal, one built not for straight-line speed, but for corners. They named it after Albert Divo, the French racing driver who twice won the brutal Targa Florio mountain race for Bugatti in the 1920s. The Divo is 35 kilograms lighter than the Chiron, generates 90 kilograms more downforce, and lapped the Nardo handling circuit around 8 seconds faster. Bugatti announced exactly 40 cars at $5.8 million each. Here is the detail that tells you everything about this world. All 40 were sold before a single one had been built. The buyers had never driven it, most had never seen it. When Bugatti calls, you simply say yes, and you wire the money. Number 7. The Maybach Exelero, $8 million. This one might be the strangest origin story in automotive history, because the most expensive Mercedes-built car of its era was commissioned by a tire company. In the early 2000s, the German tire maker Fulda needed to prove its new high-performance tires could survive 350 kilometers an hour, and instead of renting a test car, it asked Maybach to build one from scratch. The result, unveiled in Berlin in 2005, is a 5.7-meter black limousine coupe that looks like Batman's daily driver, weighs over 2.5 tons, and still hits 218 miles per hour thanks to a 700 horsepower twin-turbo V12. Only one exists. Jay-Z borrowed it for a music video. A famous rapper once claimed to have bought it for $8 million, though that deal reportedly never closed. The one-off Exelero simply resurfaces every few years, still wearing its $8 million reputation, still one of one. Number 6. The Bugatti Centodieci, $9 million. Centodieci means 110 in Italian, and this car is a birthday card. Bugatti built it in 2019 to celebrate its 110th anniversary and styled it as a modern tribute to the EB110, the wedge-shaped supercar that briefly resurrected the brand in the 1990s. Under the retro bodywork is Bugatti's 8-litre W16 engine with 4 turbochargers, producing 1,600 horsepower. 0 to 62 takes 2.4 seconds. Top speed is electronically limited to 236 miles per hour, presumably to protect the tires and possibly the laws of physics. Exactly 10 were built, at $9 million each, and everyone sold instantly. The most famous customer is Cristiano Ronaldo, who took delivery of a pearl-white example in 2022, adding it to a car collection reportedly worth more than $25 million. When your face is on billboards on 5 continents, this is what a treat-yourself purchase looks like. Now, pause here for a moment, because at this point in the countdown, the rules change. Everything below this line was expensive but repeatable, a limited edition with your name on a waiting list. Everything above it is different. From here on up, each car was commissioned, designed around one specific human being, the way you would commission a portrait or a super yacht. And the car that started it all is next. Number 5. The Rolls-Royce Sweptail, $12.8 million. In 2013, a collector of super yachts and private aircraft, reported to be the Hong Kong businessman Sam Lee, walked into Rolls-Royce with a question nobody had asked in 80 years. Can you build me a car that exists for no one else? It took 4 years. The Sweptail, unveiled at the Villa d'Est Concours in May 2017, is a hand-built one-off with a vast panoramic glass roof that tapers to a point at the rear, deliberately shaped like the stern of a classic racing yacht. The interior hides a deployable attaché case built for his laptop, and the rear glass carries the number 08, his lucky number. The reported price, $12.8 million, made it the most expensive new car in the world at the time. But its real legacy is bigger than the number. The Sweptail convinced Rolls-Royce that the ancient art of coach building, one client, one body, one car, could live again. Every entry left on this list exists because of it. Number 4. The Pagani Zonda HP Barchetta, $17.5 million. Horacio Pagani is the closest thing the car world has to a living Renaissance artist. An Argentine who apprenticed under Lamborghini, struck out on his own, and built hypercars the way Florentine masters built altarpieces. In 2017, for his 60th birthday, he gave himself a present. The Zonda HP Barchetta, and HP stands for Horacio Pagani, is a roofless, almost windowless sculpture in carbon and titanium, wrapped around a naturally aspirated 6-litre AMG V12, making 789 horsepower. There is no top at all. Rain is simply not part of the ownership experience. 3 were built. Pagani kept one for himself and sold the other 2, at a price he personally confirmed, 15 million euros each, around $17.5 million. For a brief moment, this open-topped birthday gift was the most expensive new car money could buy. It would not hold the title for long. Number 3. The Bugatti La Voiture Noire, $18.7 million. Every legend needs a ghost story, and Bugatti's is the Type 57 SC Atlantic, arguably the most beautiful car of the 1930s. Only 4 were made. Gian Bugatti, the founder's son, kept one for himself, and in 1941, somewhere in wartime France, that car vanished. It has never been found. If it surfaced today, collectors believe it could be worth well over $100 million. In 2019, for the company's 110th birthday, Bugatti built its tribute to the lost car. La Voiture Noire, the black car, is a one-off with 6 tailpipes, a body of hand-sculpted black carbon fiber, and the 16-cylinder heart of the Chiron. Bugatti quoted 11 million euros before tax, but with taxes folded in, the reported total came to around $18.7 million. The most expensive new car ever sold at that point. The finished car took 2 years to complete and was delivered in 2021 to an owner Bugatti has never named. Cristiano Ronaldo was rumored. He denied it. The black car keeps its secrets, just like the one that vanished. Number 2. The Rolls-Royce Boat Tail, $28 million. When the Sweptail proved one client would pay millions for a one-off, Rolls-Royce made coach building a permanent division, and the Boat Tail was its opening statement. Unveiled at Villa d'Este in 2021, it is nearly 19 feet of hand-formed nautical elegance, and its party trick might be the single most extravagant feature ever fitted to an automobile. The entire rear deck opens like a butterfly's wings to reveal a built-in hosting suite, twin champagne refrigerators chilled to the exact temperature of the owner's favorite vintage, bespoke crockery, cocktail tables, and a parasol that deploys from the bodywork in case the sun has the audacity to shine on your picnic. The dashboard clock is a pair of custom Bovet timepieces that lift out and convert into wristwatches. 3 boat tails were commissioned, each unique, at a reported $28 million apiece. The first belongs, according to the internet's favorite unconfirmed rumor, to music royalty. Rolls-Royce, as always, says nothing. At this level, discretion is part of what you are paying for. Number 1. The Rolls-Royce Droptail, reportedly more than $30 million. And here it is, the current king and the perfect ending, because nobody outside a handful of offices in Goodwood, England, actually knows what it cost. The Droptail is Rolls-Royce coach building at its most extreme. Just 4 will ever exist, each a 2-seat roadster with a removable hardtop of electrochromic glass that shifts from clear to opaque at the touch of a button. The first, unveiled at Monterey Car Week in 2023, is called La Rose Noire, inspired by the black Baccarat rose, and its interior contains a piece of craftsmanship that borders on obsession. Over 1,600 individual wood veneer triangles, hand-placed one by one to form a swirl of falling rose petals. The dashboard holds a one-of-a-kind Audemars Piguet watch created just for this car. Estimates put each Droptail between $25 and $32 million, which would make it the most expensive new car ever sold. Rolls-Royce has never confirmed a single number, and it never will. The crown at the top of this list is worn in silence. So there it is, the full climb, from a $4.5 million Lamborghini to a $30 million Rolls-Royce commissioned like a work of art. And notice what happened on the way up. The horsepower stopped mattering. The lap times stopped mattering. By the summit, what you are really buying is the one thing no factory can mass produce. The fact that no one else on Earth can have it. And yet, here is the final twist. Even $30 million would barely cover a deposit on the most expensive car ever sold. Full stop. That title belongs to a 1955 Mercedes racing coupe that sold at a secret auction for nearly $143 million. But that is an old car's story, and I have told it before. If you enjoyed this climb through the very top of the automotive world, you know what to do. Subscribe, and I will keep bringing you inside the places money almost cannot reach. I will see you in the next one.